One tiny feeder can turn a quiet yard into a hummingbird standoff. The odd part is not that they want nectar. It is how fiercely one spot is watched. Watch where the first bird goes after the chase. That perch is not random. It gives a clear look at the feeder and the open approach. A second bird does not just fly in, it tests the space first. The guard moves before the visitor even lands. The visitor often gives up space before giving up completely. Sometimes the loudest clue is the bird that does not land. To us, it looks like a feeder. To them, it may work like a tiny checkpoint. The red port does more than offer nectar. It draws eyes from far across the yard. The guarding bird becomes easy to recognize by the pattern it repeats. A calm feeder visit looks different from a guarded one. The chase often draws the same curve, like an invisible fence in the air. A rival may try the side route, not because it is brave, but because it is less visible. But if the guard can see the side route, the secret path disappears. After a chase, the feeder may tell the story even when the birds vanish. All of this can happen in a space smaller than a porch chair. A robin may ignore the feeder completely, while hummingbirds treat it like a bright center point. The next clue is timing. The visitor often comes right after the guard looks away. If the guard turns back too soon, the feeder stays untouched. The feeder can be full, and the fight can still happen. The perch works like a watchtower only because it faces the road. Hovering is powerful, but perching lets the guard watch without burning every second in the air. After a few seconds, the visitor may leave before the guard ever touches it. Placement can make the standoff stronger without anyone meaning to. Even a small change in position can change the whole chase pattern. Now the approach is shorter, but the view is broken by leaves. A visitor may get a second longer when the open lane is broken. But the fight does not always vanish. Sometimes it just changes shape. The clearest clue is not the first landing. It is what the bird does just before it leaves. That tiny head lift can mean the bird has noticed the guard returning. When the visitor leaves early, the chase may be shorter. The guard often returns to the feeder area, not because it is always hungry, but because the point still matters. Nearby birds may carry on as if nothing dramatic happened. The feeder is tiny, but its visibility makes it feel large in the bird's route. A direct approach is fast, but it is also easy to see. The guard does not need to catch the visitor. It only needs to bend the visitor away. Then the guard loops back, often to the same spot as before. The rival may not leave the yard. It may simply wait outside the guarded line. Wind, shadows, and reflections can create tiny openings. A waiting bird may move the instant the guard checks the wrong place. Sometimes the prize is only a heartbeat at the port. Then one turn of the guard's head changes everything again. The visitor's exit path matters as much as the approach. A clean retreat can end the chase before it grows. The feeder settles again, but the yard is not reset. The pattern can change through the day as light, cover, and traffic shift. When the feeder is quiet, a bird may slip in without challenge. But the calm can change the moment the regular watcher comes back. This is the small decision point most people miss. Instead of leaving, the visitor may circle to test another angle. The guard's eyes and body turn before it launches. If the visitor crosses too close to the port, the guard finally moves. The visitor may not retreat straight back. It may choose the safest curve. After retreating, the rival often stays close enough to try again. Meanwhile, the guard returns to the same visual triangle: perch, feeder, open air. Even the side of the port can matter when one angle is easier to defend. A bird may test the far side because the guard's view is weaker there. A late reaction looks different from an instant chase. That delay may be enough for a sip, but not for a long stay. More space can help, but only if the birds cannot guard everything from one perfect spot. A strong perch can turn two feeders into one guarded zone. When feeding spots are separated by cover, the chase pattern can soften. The birds may still notice each other, but the first clash is no longer at the same tiny port. Still, the original feeder remains the best place to read the mystery. A fresh refill can restart the attention around the feeder. The birds often wait until the big movement is gone. The first bird back may not drink first. It may claim the view first. A second bird may see the feeder, then see the guard. That pause can turn into a retreat before any chase starts. This is why a full feeder can look strangely unused for minutes. Wind can make guarding harder by shaking the lookout and the feeder together. If the old perch stops working, the guard may choose a new watch point. A new perch can protect one route while leaving another route open. The waiting bird may notice the new gap faster than we do. When the line of sight is broken, the guard may react late. Sometimes the visitor reads the danger and leaves with only a trace of motion behind. The guard may hover at the feeder as if checking where the rival went. If the rival is gone, the guard usually returns to the place that gives the next best view. Once you see the perch, the route, and the pause, the fight looks less random. The goal is not to imagine peace talks. It is to notice timing. A bird that waits is still part of the story. The guard may leave for a moment, and that gap can matter. This is the quiet version of the same mystery. One bird, one opening, one fast sip. The moment the guard reappears, the quiet window closes. Tomorrow, watch for the perch first, not the chase. If you only watch the port, you may miss the whole decision. When you widen the view, the route appears. A chickadee or sparrow nearby may seem busy, but they are not part of this feeder map. The clue is not every bird in the yard. It is the bird that keeps returning to the feeder's line. The beak points first, the body follows, and the chase begins. The other bird may react to that lean before the guard is fully airborne. When the cue is clear enough, the feeder may stay quiet again. Natural flowers can add roots and pauses around the feeder. The same bird that guards may still need to feed elsewhere. The waiting bird may respond to an empty perch faster than to the feeder itself. This is when a rival can slip in with the least drama. If the visitor leaves before the guard returns, the yard looks calm again. But when both birds arrive at the same instant, the tiny feeder becomes the whole scene again. The fight is often the moment two routes overlap at one tiny point. Then one bird bends away, and the guard usually returns to the feeder's line. So the next time you see a chase, look for the perch it starts from. Then look for the bird that waits just outside the open lane. And when the birds vanish, the feeder may still show what just happened. A quiet port does not always mean no birds are interested. The best answer is not to blame the bird. It is to read the yard more carefully. The tiny feeder fight is really a story of nectar, sight lines, timing, and escape routes. Now the opening standoff looks different. One bird bends away, the other returns, and the feeder keeps its place in the yard. By evening, the same feeder can look quiet again, but the secret is still there. Tomorrow, try watching the branch before you watch the feeder. If a tiny bird keeps returning to the same lookout, you may be seeing the feeder fight before it starts. And if another hummingbird waits in the leaves, the story is already moving. The fight looks sudden, but the clues were there all along. If you see this at your feeder, comment where the guard perches in your yard.